ButHerFly Boudoir. I am Madame ButHerFly, and today I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on the first season of Chasing LA, brought to you by the brand, the franchise, Chasing Reality. Okay, so there has been a lot of hype around Chasing LA. So from the moment we found out that there was going to be a Chasing LA, everyone was excited, right? It's LA, it's Los Angeles, it's California. You know, when you think of California, you think of the city of dreams, the Hollywood sign on the hills, you think of Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive, you know, you just think of the glitz and the glamour when you think of LA. And when we found out that Q was going to be the executive producer of the show, you know, it automatically felt like, okay, this is gonna be something different. This is gonna be something that we've never seen before, something different than what Atlanta and Dallas was giving, right? Q, when I watched him on Chasing Atlanta, Q always gave off that air of sophistication, and he dressed well, he was very well spoken, and hell, he looked like he smelled good too. So, you know, it was just a lot of high expectations for Chasing LA, right? So there's been a lot of talk, there's been a lot of drama, there's been a lot of lies from a bunch of different people going on, and you know, a lot of people have been speaking their truth, speaking their opinions, and you know, I just want to give my thoughts on it. Now, the intro, we're gonna start out with the intro. Imani Van Zap. Imani Van Zap, if you follow the Chasing Reality brand, then you know who Imani Van Zap is. She gives commentary on all of the Chasing Reality shows, Atlanta and Dallas. She is the Iyanla of the Chasing Reality brand, and she gives her thoughts and opinions on the cast on the show, and she helps them fix their shit. All right, so one of her very first critiques about the show was the opening credits. She didn't like how they changed it from videos to still photos. Now for me, I thought that was very minuscule. You know, I didn't think that was worthy to be brought up in a critique, because for me, I didn't see that as a critique or a flaw. I loved it. I would just tell you right now, I loved it, okay? I love everything about the intro. I love how they changed it from videos to still photos. I loved it. It was so cute. I loved how the intro was so vibrant and bright. You know, everyone had on this bright yellow, and the background was like a baby blue color, like reminiscent of the sky. Like, the intro was everything to me. It was so bright and beautiful. Like, the photos, it was very much so HD 4K high quality. All right, I loved it. I loved it. The intro song, baby. So normally the song that they use for all the chasing shows is "Life is truly what you make it." And although that is a catchy tune, this song right here, baby, I did it. I'm so hood, and I gotta admit it. My name is the name of my business, so my city is the way I represent it. Gotta go. Listen, I had to run it back and look at the credits and find out who sang that song, because baby, I went and I downloaded it. So for those who don't know who sang it, the artist's name is I Am Compton. That's one word, I Am Compton. Much like Imani Van Zap's Chasing Compton phrase that she likes to use, which is ironic, huh? It's very much so ironic that she always called it Chasing Compton, and the artist who sings the intro is named I Am Compton. But it's I Am Compton, and the song is called I Did It. And I discovered the song is like 5 years old, and the artist is actress Kyla Pratt's boo. Okay? I was like, oh, what? And he's also on Black Ink Crew. I'm not sure which franchise it is. I'm not sure if it's New York. I mean, hell, I'm assuming it's California. But anyway, yes. So I downloaded that, baby, when I'm driving in the car. Anyway, the intro was good for me. I love the intro. So that right there, I did not agree with Imani on that. Like, the intro was bomb to me. I'm glad they switched it up and gave us something different. I think it very much so gives off a high quality vibe. So I think it went very well with the LA theme. Now, I feel like before I talk about the entire season, the first episode opened up with Q. All right, Q was introducing or reintroducing himself to us, letting us know that he moved from Atlanta to LA. He's embarking on a new adventure in LA, and he's introducing this new cast to us, okay? And he brought along a couple of, old castmates, fan favorites, Oliver Twist and Lauren England. And it was nice seeing them again. And also during that opening scene, we met two of the LA cast members. We met Jeremy Copeland and Jayla Jalon. Now, Imani had mentioned that she felt like Q took up the entire episode. Now, the first episode was only 30 minutes and she felt like he took up the whole episode. She also felt like he confused the audience by appearing on camera, making it seem like he was a cast member. Now, for me, I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel confused in the slightest about Q. Now, I know she may be referring to maybe because Reese G, is executive producer on Dallas, and he's also a cast member on Dallas. So maybe she was referring to that. We were confused of whether or not Q was going to be both the EP and on the show. But I didn't see anything wrong with Q opening up the show and, just introducing it to us like that. You can say, yeah, he was, trying to flex a little bit. Okay, I'll give that to you. Maybe he was trying to flex a little bit. But I mean, hell, I would too. He's excited. This is his baby, his first project. And so, he wanted to show y'all what it is. But I didn't feel a type of way about him introducing the cast or introducing the show. I didn't feel like he took up the entire episode. I mean, he literally was only on for maybe about 5 minutes. Literally 5 minutes. So I didn't quite understand Imani's point on that. I guess maybe she was confused. I don't know if other people were. For me personally, I wasn't, and I enjoyed him coming on the screen and talking for a bit. Now, I will say, overall, I feel like the cast was not represented the way that they should have been represented. I feel like the majority of them had so much to offer. So much to offer, and I feel like the entire season was wasted. I really do. I feel like the entire season was wasted. So let's just go down the list. You have Andre. Andre is a successful stylist. He's worked with celebrities. You've seen him do work on the show. You've seen clips of him doing stuff on other shows. So he's accomplishing things. He's doing things. He's working. You have Jeremy Copeland. He's a known choreographer. He's choreographed for some major artists. He is friends with one of the top LGBT influencers, Todrick Hall. He also brought him on the show. Jeremy is doing things. He's working. I wish that we could have seen more of Jeremy. I wish we would have been able to see rehearsals from him. He mentioned Todrick is putting out an album, I believe, and they worked on a lot of music videos for it. So I wish we would have seen some of that. Jeremy did mention that he submitted work scenes and it was lost by production. So I really would have liked to have seen more from Jeremy, but Jeremy is working. We know Jeremy is working. King Payne. I know King Payne from YouTube. Being a YouTube content creator myself, I know of King Payne. I discovered King Payne through Armand Wiggins. They used to do a music review show. They would have artists submit their music and they would review their music live. So I knew of King Payne. He has his own platform on YouTube. He's a licensed barber, he's a loctician, he has a hair product line, and we didn't discover about this hair product line until the very last episode. Episodes 1 through 7, we knew nothing of this hair product line. It wasn't mentioned not one time. We didn't hear about it until the very last episode. I would have loved to have seen the process that he went through. He said all of the scientists who worked on the product were all like black scientists, black people who worked on creating the formula for this. I would have loved to have seen that process, seen him talk about it, maybe seen him cutting hair, doing locks on people. I would have loved to have seen that. I would have loved to have seen that. Fly King I know about Fly King. I know about him as a battle rapper. I watch battle rap. I watch URL, Smack, Queen of the Ring with Babs and Vague and Devo. I know about Fly King. He's a dope battle rapper and he is respected in the culture. So I would have loved to have seen maybe Chasing Reality at one of his battles. You know, on the very last episode when they're wrapping it up, they show a snippet of him at a battle with Babs Bunny. And I watched that battle. It was him and Lady Caution. So I wish they would have actually like been at that battle to show it, you know. He's got a clothing line, you know. We did see a work scene from him. But, you know, we just could have seen more. Who else? You got Jayla. No, let me go to Quan. Quan the poet. He is a very well-spoken, poetic person. His vocabulary is amazing. The way he pieces words together, the things that he says, like the impact of his words, it was amazing. I would have loved to have seen him in some type of club and, you know, giving us that Love Jones feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have loved to have seen him do more performances of that, you know? Then you have D. Hawkins. He stated that he's a new artist. He's working on a clothing line. We did see him in the studio, you know, one time. But, you know, we didn't see that much of him. Now, when he had his interview, him and Fly King I did the live on Chasing Reality's YouTube channel, you know, we got to see his actual clothing line. Fly King I was actually wearing the sweatshirt and the hat. I think it's World of DH. So he's got his line now. I would have loved to have seen the process of him creating that line and picking out the fabrics and whatnot, you know. It would have just been amazing to see that. Jayla. Honestly, we really didn't see anything from Jayla. We really didn't. I mean, in the beginning, we saw one scene of her and King Payne together. But that was it. And that scene wasn't even barely showing much of her singing. That the majority of that scene was just her and King Payne talking. Towards the end of the scene, it was maybe like a minute or two of her singing. So we really didn't get to see much of Jayla. Alicia, we definitely didn't get to see what she does. She talked about how she's a model. She is coming with a podcast. We saw one scene of her doing a photo shoot, but that was it. That was it. I would have loved to have known more about her podcast. I don't know if it's Alicia, the Alicia Love podcast. I don't know. She didn't talk about it. She didn't go into detail what it was about. If she had any co-hosts on the show, I would have loved to have known more about her podcast. Maybe see her in action. You know, we just didn't see much from her. And then Fran definitely. We saw nothing of Fran. We saw nothing of Fran. Fran says that they are a model and a singer, and we didn't see anything of that on the show. I watched the interview that Fran did with the official King Payne on the breakdown, and they sung Etta James At Last, and Fran has a beautiful voice. Fran has a beautiful voice. I wish I would have seen them in the studio, you know, at sessions, you know, just doing something. You know, Fran talked about on the show that they were dealing with their mom being out of the hospital, problems in their relationship. We didn't know anything of that. Nothing of that. And yes, okay, you can say they wanted to keep, you know, things with their mom private, but I mean, if you brought it up at the end of the show, then you might as well have talked about it during the season. I mean, at least, you know, we would have been able to get some type of storyline from you. So Fran just really didn't bring anything, and I wish that they would have, because they have a very beautiful voice, and Fran definitely does have the face and the stature to be a model. Now that booty though, I don't know if Fran can make it into high fashion modeling, because in that world, you know, they want the stick figure. You know what I'm saying? They want the stick figure. Now, if you got some junk in the trunk, I don't know how far you're gonna go in that world. Now, in the urban world of modeling, no problem. But yeah, I just definitely wish we would have seen more of Fran. Hershey, I forgot to bring up Hershey. Hershey, we know Hershey is a drag queen impersonator. Now, we didn't get to see much of Hershey because the clubs were closed down, so he really didn't, you know, get to do a lot of shows. Now, he did put on his own show in the park where we got to see his work, but you know, again, we didn't, you know, see too many work scenes from Hershey either. Although Hershey is a fan favorite and he stayed out of the drama, Hershey was not in any type of drama this entire season. Nobody had any beef with Hershey. So even though Hershey was a fan favorite and everybody loved him, we didn't see much from Hershey either when it comes to work, if you want to be real, you know. Jeremy was able to introduce Hershey to Todrick Hall, you know, to inspire him with his drag, and that was great. That was amazing. I'm glad for Hershey that he got the opportunity to meet Todrick and feel inspired, but you know, we still didn't see, you know, much from Hershey either. But my point is, the majority of the cast had things going on. They were very talented, and I just wish that those talents would have been brought to the show, because every single episode it was drama, it was fighting. They weren't talking about their gifts. You know what I'm saying? They had so many gifts that could have been brought to the show that they didn't bring. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like had they brought those gifts to the show, there would not have been any fights. Honestly, there would not have been any fights, because everybody would have been in their studio sessions, in their photo shoots, in their rehearsals, at their drag shows. There would not have been fights in every single episode had everybody been focusing on their craft and bring it to the light. Nobody was talking about what they do. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them were saying how it was COVID, we were quarantined, everything was closed. Granted, yes, everything was closed in California. It was definitely one of the worst states to get hit by the pandemic. But I feel like if everything was closed, why even film a season? Why even film? You know everything is closed. You know you're not going to be able to do anything. Why even film the season? I feel like if they would have waited until things started opening back up, this season would have been so much better. So much better. And I feel like maybe Q and production were just really hype about the show and just wanted to do it so bad that they just went ahead and did it during the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you still went ahead and filmed during the pandemic, you can't now use the excuse we weren't able to do anything or go anywhere because everything was closed. Well, then why even film? Why even film? If you know you're not gonna be able to do anything, why even film? I feel like if they would have waited, this would have been so much better. Things would have been open. They would have been able to go do everything they wanted. The clubs would have been back open and Hershey would have been able to do his shows. The studios would have been open and D Hawkins and Alicia, J-Lo would have been able to get sessions, and you know, I just feel like they would have been able to do so much more had they waited when everything opened, because the fact that everything was closed and they weren't able to really do anything, it forced them to have to be together all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody could really go off and do any solo things or rent any spaces because everything was closed, so everyone always had to be with each other, and that just caused chaos and arguing and fighting. Had everything, you know, been open, people would have been doing their own thing. I just feel it's very unfortunate the way this season turned out, being that it was highly anticipated and expected to be great, you know. But I still, you know, appreciate Q's effort. You know, this was his first, I don't know if this was his first producing show ever. I know he did a radio show, but as far as I know, this is his first like reality show that he's produced. So, you know, kudos to him for that. You know, he tried, he did his best. Now, according to the live that we saw from Reese G, there was a live with Reese G, Eric, I'm gonna say Eric because he was not, you know, Imani was not there, it was Eric, and Blake. Reese, Eric, Blake, and Q. They all four were in a live. And, you know, they were saying that, you know, Q just was not asking for help. He wasn't listening. Eric was saying, for this video's sake, I'll just say Imani. Imani was saying, you know, she wasn't aware of anything that was going on. Q never contacted her. She didn't know what was going on. She didn't know what was going on. And Q kept saying, you were involved, you were there, we talked about this, we talked about that. And Imani's like, what are you talking about? We never talked about anything. And then Reese, I respect Reese and what he does for the franchise, but I feel like he's such an emotional person. I didn't like how he hung up on Q. Now, he hung up on Q twice, all right? He hung up on him the first time and then brought him back and then hung up on him again. I feel like that's very unprofessional. The whole live itself was unprofessional, but if you're gonna bring someone on to talk about it, okay? Yes, things may get hostile, voices may get raised, but you can't just cut somebody off because you don't like what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? You need to listen. You're never going to get through a conversation to figure out what the problem is and work through it and solve it if you act like a child and just cut off the live. I believe you're almost 30 or 30. It's time to grow up and be an adult, okay? So I really did not like Reese G for doing that, you know. But everybody's emotions were high on that live, you know. A lot of people were saying how they felt like the backstage drama, the production drama should have stayed off camera, and I believe that to be true. It should have stayed off camera, but you know, Q did a live and talked about some things, Reese did a live and talked about some things, Imani did a live and talked about some things, you know, so everything just got brought to the forefront to the public, and now we all know about it. It's just an unfortunate thing, and due to all of this, we find out Imani is no longer the host. The host of the reunion. I believe everyone, you know, without question figured that Imani would be the host, you know. She hosted the Dallas reunion, so why not? You know, she is a commentator of the franchise, so why wouldn't she host a reunion? So it was a shock to everybody to find that out, but you know, her critiques of the show just weren't sitting well with Q, obviously. I don't know if Q gets the final say on whether or not she could host, if Ondario, you know, gets the final say, if they came to an agreement. I don't know. But it was agreed that Imani was not going to host. So we don't know who's gonna host the show. I'm still going to tune in and watch it. Now it would be dope if it turns out Imani is the host. Now I've been seeing a lot of people in the comments say, you know, Q just be the bigger person and let Imani host, and you know, that would be amazing if it turned out that way, you know, if they just surprise the fans and we see Imani on the screen, you know. But I don't know. It seems like there's some bad blood now between Imani and Q, so I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I'm curious to see who will host the show. Now in Imani's final assessment of the show, I will say I did not like the wig. I did not like her hair. I'm sorry, I didn't. I wish she would have worn that honey brown, honey blonde, curly wig. Now that wig was bomb. I love that look. I love that hair. Yeah, I wish she would have worn that. But everything else was fine. The final assessment was basically, you know, the same thing that she was saying during the season, you know. But I think what was a memorable thing, and basically the only thing that people were really talking about, was the ending of her assessment when she said, "You wanted my name, but not my knowledge." Baby, when I tell you, people in the comments was going off, baby, everybody was like, "Ooh, Monty, you preaching a word." So that was, you know, the memorable part from her assessment. But overall, you know, she's basically saying the same thing. Now, King Payne, when he had his interview with Imani, I did watch that, and he had asked, you know, you're saying that you weren't a part of the show, and you're giving these critiques on the production and saying, you know, this should have been better. He asked, well, how would you have produced the show? And Imani didn't really give an answer. She said, you know, I don't want to talk too much because I'm going to be explaining this in my final assessment. But even in the final assessment, she didn't say how it could have been better. You know, she didn't say like, if I was the producer, I would have done this, this, and this. I would have made sure that we were over here and over here, and that this was out of the view. Like she didn't, you know, give any of that. And so, you know, I feel like if you're gonna give critiques on what you don't like and what's bad and what needs improvement, let them know what needs improvement or how to improve it. You know, I don't feel like Imani, you know, really let them know how to improve it. I feel like during the season, she was pointing out, you know, the fights and the bad behavior, but I don't feel like she was giving them advice on how to fix it and how to move forward. Or it could have been better. It could have been better, you know. But overall, I agree on some points with Imani that the season could have been better. There was too many fights, too many, you know, too much drama going on. But like I said, you know, I feel like the season was wasted. I feel like they should have waited until, you know, quarantine was over in California and things started opening back up. You know, I feel like it could have been a better season if they would have waited. But nonetheless, I enjoyed watching it. I still watch it. You know what I'm saying? It's over now and I still watch the episodes, all right? Even though we didn't get to see, you know, the work scenes like we should have, I still watch it. Just like everybody else, we still watch it. We can't say we ain't watching because we still gonna watch it. But, you know, we just wish it would have been better. You know, this is LA, you know? You're supposed to make me, for me, I feel like you're supposed to make me feel like jealous. Or you're supposed to make me feel like, dang, you know what I'm saying? It's LA. But, anyway, those are my thoughts on the show. I'm still a big fan of Chasing Reality. I'm still a big fan of Chasing LA, the whole cast of Chasing LA. I'm still a fan of Q. I'm pretty sure this will be returning for a second season and it will be better, okay? It's always better the second go around because you learn from your mistakes the first time. Alright, you guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button. If you'd like to leave me a comment, please feel free to do so down below. Let me know what y'all thought of the first season of Chasing LA. And if you are not a fly girl yet, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to the channel. You guys can also follow me on Instagram at Madame_ButHerFly. Alright guys, until the next time, please remember, stay focused, stay laughing, stay yourself, stay fly.